Hey guys, my name is Adrian, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be doing a My Week in Books. So a little bit of a wrap up of what I've been reading this week, how I've been enjoying it, and what I have started or will be starting again next week and the week coming up. So let's jump straight in. There were two books I was currently reading when I spoke to you last. Both of these I got finished just before this wrap up, so yesterday and the day before. So the first one of those, let's start with, being To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. So last time I spoke to you, I know I said that I was enjoying it quite a lot, but I knew that a lot of people didn't like it and that it was going to be going downhill pretty soon, according to most people. I have finished it and I am so conflicted about this book. I really don't know what to think. My enjoyment of it was relatively high. I quite enjoyed this book. Purely on enjoyment, it was probably a 4-star book, if not more. But there were a lot of issues with it. And a lot of them I could overlook, but I know a lot of people couldn't. So I don't know how to succinctly explain my thoughts on this, other than to say I enjoyed it, but I probably shouldn't have done. Now I know that sounds very odd, but if you want to know more, if you want me to get into depth a little bit more, I have a review of this coming out on Friday, so in a couple of days. So if you want to know more and a sort of a better explanation of why I'm so conflicted, tune in for that. It will be spoiler free, so you can have a look, and if you've not read it before, and maybe make a decision if it's something that's going to be interesting for you, whether there are faults that you can overlook or whether the faults are going to be a killer for you in terms of reading this book. But yes, all in all, enjoyable. I gave it 3 stars, and that's just because I don't know how to rate this book. I'm so torn on it. But yeah, check out that review if you want to know more and have a deeper dive into why that might be. So the next book I finished this week was The Shadow of What Was Lost. I finished this yesterday and I really enjoyed it. So that's this one up here. So yeah, The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. This is his first novel. It's the first book in the Lycaeus trilogy, and I really like this book. Now, a lot of the blurb and other things on it sort of compare it to Robert Jordan and compare it to Brandon Sanderson. Now, I don't massively see the Wheel of Time comparison. There are some elements that I can see a slight comparison with, but I don't think that's the most accurate comparison, because I think Wheel of Time is much slower, much more character focused. This is very much a plot book in my opinion, and it's all about what happens, and it's very much more, to me, it's very much more like Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. It is fast paced, the plot is good, the magic is interesting, and the phrase that is often used with Mistborn and with Brandon generally is "there's always another secret," and that, wow, this book epitomizes that phrase so incredibly well. There is always another secret, and 90% of them are mind-blowing. All in all, I think the character work could have been a little bit stronger. I didn't have a massive association or a massive inclination towards our main characters. A couple of them are more interesting than some of the others. I think Caden is very interesting when we meet him, and I really like Asher. I think they're both great. Wur is interesting. Davian is a little bit bland. And maybe that again is a Wheel of Time comparison, that people don't really like our main character in Wheel of Time to start with. They think he's a bit bland. So maybe there's a comparison there as well. But all in all, I love this book. It was at least going to be a 4.5-star read for me from about halfway through. I knew I really loved it. And the ending was just straight fire. Straight fire. I absolutely adored this ending. I think it's brilliant. And I am so hyped to get into the next book. I've not had a book that has had me hanging on for a sequel quite as gripped as I am here for a very long time. I cannot see myself picking up anything else physically to read until I have picked up An Echo of Things to Come. It has really got its claws into me, and I am really liking this world, and I know there is so much going on that if I don't read these close together, I'm going to be lost. I'm going to have forgotten what's happening. There's so many moving parts in this world, and it's just something I absolutely adore. So yeah, after that 5-star read of The Shadow of What Was Lost, which I just adore, I absolutely expect that this week I will be picking up An Echo of Things to Come. Now, this is a slightly thicker book than The Shadows of What Was Lost, not by much, but by a little bit. And by the way, these covers, I really like these covers. These are beautiful things. Yeah, I love the theming going on with it as well. But I am absolutely intending to pick up An Echo of Things to Come as my next physical read. So I imagine I might be reading the Licanius trilogy for the next few weeks as I plough through these books, because they have really, like I said, got their claws into me. I am expecting a bunch of 5-star reads here, because all I've heard is that book 2 is just better than book 1. I've heard more mixed opinions on book 3, so we'll see how we go when we get there. But really loving the series so far. It has the potential to become one of my favourite series. It's so good after this first book. And then the next book that I've been picking up on audio, I'm already about 25% of the way through, and that is The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. So far I'm enjoying it. I think it took me a little bit of time to get into it. The character, I actually like that the author has narrated this himself. I think he has a good voice for it. I imagine for people who aren't British, you might struggle to understand his accent a bit, but I think that really adds some character to our main character, Kinch. Initially, I found the humour maybe a little, I don't know, just a little bit appealing to the lowest common denominator. It felt a little bit lowbrow. But as I'm starting to get to know Kinch a little bit more, I'm enjoying him as a character much more, and I can see where this is going. This is definitely a light-hearted comedic fantasy romp. At least that's the impression I'm getting from a quarter of the way through. My comparison would be something like Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames, although so far I'm not getting quite the strong emotional vibes that I got at the end of Kings of the Wild. However, I didn't get that at the beginning of Kings of the Wild, so maybe we'll get there with The Black Tongue Thief. But all in all, I am enjoying it. I think it's going to be a very fun, light-hearted listen. I can imagine me having ploughed through it in a couple of days. Very short chapters, very engaging character. Whether or not you like him and his humour, who knows? I wasn't a massive fan to start with, but I am being won over as we go. So that's what I'm up to at the minute. I've a quarter of the way through Black Tongue Thief. I'm about to start An Echo of Things to Come, and I've finished 2 books this week, which is good going. Both of them were pretty chunky books, so I'm very happy with that. To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, 3 stars, and then The Shadow of What Was Lost gets a full 5 stars from me. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to finish this series. I hope that's been interesting. If you like this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe if you want to see more of my content, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.